Hi, folks. Welcome to Firm. Lawsuits are getting childish now, aren't they? Come on, between Trump and Janet Mills? Oh, but so now the Mills administration is going to get tough on policies of the Trump administration. Oh, sorry. I'll see you in court, says Janet. Yeah, right, Ms. Mills. You tell him off in the courtroom where you won't be because your cronies, Attorney General Aaron Frey, Speaker Ryan Fecto, or I guess in reality recently, we've heard the Maine Assistant Attorney General. Who's that? Anybody know? I think we have some information, though, we've dug up, folks, and we can tell you who that is. But that's the one who will be representing the state of Maine in these appeals. Ha! Good luck. It's the federal government, Janet. You should know that already. So is that how these attacks work around the United States judicial system, folks? Nobody talks or negotiates anymore, and the real truth-talking, law-abiding First Amendment media, like this one, gets slammed before we can ask any questions of their acts or legislative secret orders that took place. Just ask State Auditor Matt Dunlap. He's got a lot of details to show the Maine population and overall American public at large, as we've gone over before. So here we go. The Maine audit reveals $2.1 billion in financial mismanagement and corruption risk. This is from the Maine Wire, folks. Back originally published on August, catch up a little bit, March 30th, but then revised and reviewed some more for April 8th. That audit revealed a shocking lack of practical and ethical guardrails for government spending after the Democrat-controlled legislature just passed an $11 billion budget and prepared to spend another $300 to $600 million funded by new taxes. The competitive bidding process is another bone of contention, if you will. One of the most troubling findings, as Mr. Dunlap writes, the state's rampant abuse of the non-competitive bidding process, which ensures that potentially large government contracts are awarded according to an open and transparent process, has been roughly circumvented in violation of state and federal law, according to the State Auditor. The result is more than $2 billion in fiscal year 2024 contract payments made under a system the audit describes as lacking basic supervisory oversight and controls. In one case, a sole source contract was approved after the work was completed, a blatant violation of state procurement law. In another instance, the office, I believe, is state of the State Procurement Services, had said that 45 contracts were reviewed, and it was found that 16 of the 31 sole source contracts, those exempted from competitive bidding, lacked any documentation of a required reasonable investigation by the Director of Bureau of General Services. And one sole contract was approved after the work was already completed. A blatant violation. None of the vendors who benefited from the suspect procurement process were named in the report. However, the Maine Wire has submitted a Freedom of Access Act and a request to obtain any documents that would help identify those beneficiaries. The report also found that the OSPS agency failed to ensure that the state was securing fair prices, a lack of effort that could have cost taxpayers untold millions. So there we go, folks. Maine Wire, under their trending news back on April 8th. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick rundown of the latest and some older issues Governor Mills' administration is facing. Some interesting tidbits, shall we say. Ms. Libby, Laurel Libby, says, do Maine taxpayers agree we need to slow things down a bit in Augusta? So here we are. She runs down a laundry list herself, not just the state auditor. Maine is the fourth highest tax state in the nation. Biological males are participating in girls' sports despite 64% of Mainers opposed. Energy prices are still soaring as green policies are prioritized over the needs of Mainers. Daily lives are micromanaged right down to the bags we're allowed to use in transporting groceries. Businesses closing throughout the state due to onerous bureaucratic burdens. Only a quarter of our 4th and 8th graders are able to read at grade level. 1/4 of 4th and 8th graders. Property taxes are pushing seniors out of their homes and putting retirement out of reach, and $400,000 median house prices are making starter homes a relic of the past. One past session in Augusta, the Democrats advanced bills to increase taxes, infringe further on your Second Amendment rights. Maine citizens continue to raise the cost of energy, pour more money into our failing school system instead of reforming it. And by muzzling her, Ms. Libby, a duly elected representative, growing the budget to $11 billion, just $7 billion when Mills was sworn in, by the way. Good information to know. And doubling down on the same extreme woke policies that allow school social workers to keep students' gender transition secret from parents. Shh, don't tell anybody. The long-term solution? Well, Ms. Libby has several. Cut bureaucratic red tape and encourage entrepreneurs to start businesses that can thrive. Slash spending and repeal the income tax. We have the oldest state in the nation. Ensure that girls have a fair, safe, and level playing field. Pass school choice so that families are in the driver's seat of their students' education instead of bureaucrats. And repeal energy policies that are driving up the cost of electricity and preventing Mainers from making their own decisions how they heat their homes. She says we, meaning Mainers, and I'm sure Americans, must also be ready to say yes to bold conservative solutions that will restore common sense to Augusta. Winning in 2026 isn't just about a race, it's about building a movement, district by district, to ensure that every conservative candidate has the support needed to take back our state. Each and every candidate is a vital piece in the puzzle so that we can secure a future where Maine thrives. Thank you for that, Ms. Libby. And one other thing here, folks, that we want to throw out there. Apparently, Mr. Frey is not too happy, and his pants seem to be on fire. Fire, pants on fire. So what is he saying? Well, he's suing the Trump administration. Here we are, folks. Like I said, lawsuits are getting to be childlike. He's going to continue to double down on discrimination against women and girls and suing the Trump administration for the right to do so and still receive federal funds. No, that would be negatory. A few people write in, as most of this article and this post was viewed on Facebook and also was presented in writing. I don't know how one-sided they are, but they probably are, as the Portland Press-Herald. One person says the state has turned into an absolute circus being run by clowns. Another person writes, this is by no means representative of all citizens of Maine. They stand by Ms. Libby. Disgrace as a Maine AG. Impeach Mills, Bellows, and this clown. Aaron Frey is Maine's Eric Swalwell. This will not end well for Maine, says another. And it's nice to know, another one says, that Democrats aren't concerned with bankrupting the country. We've already lost a lot of medical services because Mrs. Mills can't pay her bills. How true is that? Wow. You know, that is true. Kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Of course, we don't want you to forget, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, we have Pam Bondi again. She's Johnny on the spot everywhere. And nothing's going to get by her when it comes to the Title IX violations of women's rights or women in sports federal law. But, of course, she is also making Republican, going to respond to Maine Republicans' request for her, Miss Bondi, to investigate state finances after the audit. So, not only do you have your auditor cutting you down, Ms. Mills, you're going to have to deal with Pam Bondi, too. She isn't too happy about it. As we move on here, folks, of course, Title IX is on most people's minds still to this day. But we have another piece of information that we talked about earlier here, folks. The new LinkedIn account that we were able to obtain online shows who is Maine's Assistant Attorney General. Here we go. I don't know if she's exactly the one. There's more than one Assistant Attorney General in the AG's office, don't get me wrong. But this person is a Halliday Moncure. She identifies as she, her. Isn't that nice? Really getting tired of that, too. She said she serves the state of Maine as an Assistant Attorney General in the Litigation Division. She's been with the state of Maine 12 years and 4 months. She's full-time as of February of 2023 to the present. Also, a couple of other interesting information pieces about Ms. Moncure. She was an Assistant Attorney General serving in the DHHS division, representing that area at the beginning of 2013 into 2023. Representative for individuals and restructuring businesses, creditors, and committees, both inside and outside of Chapters 7, 11, and 13 Bankruptcy Court. That's nice. But this is the most impressive of her educational background, folks, in law. She got her law degree at the University of Richmond, Virginia. School of Law, University of Richmond, Virginia. Juris Doctor, cum laude. Are we supposed to shudder and quiver at the fact that she knows what she's doing? She was a recipient also of a Cali Award in military law, the highest grade in the class. Wow! That's pretty good, I guess. But it's military law. And other than that, she's had education in a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science at Wheaton College in Massachusetts. Activities and Society's recipient of the Wheaton Fellowship, NCAA athlete, varsity women's soccer. I'm not impressed, and neither should you be, folks. Stand up for women's rights in sports, folks, right here, just like they did on March 1st. You can see one of the ladies leading the effort here was our friend, the assistant minority leader. As always, folks, we appreciate you joining us for our program and hope that this opens some doors and some light on the issue of the dark, ongoing actions by the Maine Democrats and trying to perform their own version of lawfare. You see how it went with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We welcome your input as well, folks, all the time. Right here. All of our podcasts here, over 320 of them now. Rumble.com/fairnessmedia1, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com, fairnessinreportingmedia@gmail.com. Remember us for truth, facts, reality, and common sense. Pray for peace, for Israel, and all of you out there as well. Stay safe.